The crystalline chambers of the HFY War Council echoed with chittering laughter as Admiral Vextar displayed the intercepted human communications on the holographic projector. The assembled representatives of 12 species, each having conquered dozens of worlds, found the human tactical discussions utterly amusing. "They speak of duct tape solutions and jury rigging," wheezed Commander Zephylos through his respirator, his 4 eyes glistening with mirth. "These primitives actually believe their crude improvisations can challenge our millennium of military doctrine." Fleet Marshal Korath, whose species had mastered plasma weaponry before humans discovered fire, tapped his talons against the obsidian table. "Their ships are held together with what they call spit and prayer. We've observed them literally welding scrap metal onto hull breaches during combat. It's almost endearing." The War Council had reason for confidence. The hegemony fleet comprised 847 vessels, each a masterpiece of engineering representing thousands of years of refined military technology. Their ships were grown rather than built, their hulls composed of living metal that could regenerate minor damage, their weapon systems integrated into the very consciousness of the vessel itself. Against this armada, humanity had managed to scrape together 23 ships, a motley collection of retrofitted cargo haulers, modified mining vessels, and exactly 3 purpose-built warships that were already obsolete by hegemony standards. "The numbers speak for themselves," Admiral Vextar continued, his translator rendering his musical language into cold, mechanical tones. 847 to 23. Our smallest frigate carries more firepower than their largest dreadnought. This won't be a battle, it'll be an extermination. What the War Council didn't understand about humans was that desperation breeds innovation in ways that comfort never could. Captain Elena Rodriguez floated in the cramped command center of the Indomitable Spirit, humanity's flagship, a former asteroid mining platform that had been hastily converted with armor plating, salvaged from a defunct space station. Around her, the crew worked with the focused intensity of people who knew they were probably about to die. "Status report," Rodriguez called out, her voice steady despite the impossible odds they faced. "Engineering reports all systems. Well, Lieutenant Martinez says they're held together by stubbornness and coffee," reported Commander Chen from the communication station. "But everything's green for now." Rodriguez smiled grimly. Martinez wasn't wrong. The human fleet was an exercise in creative desperation. They'd mounted mining lasers as primary weapons, rigged cargo containers to act as missile batteries, and installed ramming prods, literally, metal spikes designed for asteroid penetration, as close combat weapons. "Sir," called out Ensign Park from the tactical station, "I'm reading massive hyperspace signatures. The hegemony fleet is dropping out of FTL, counting 847 vessels, all classes." Through the view screen, the enemy fleet materialized like a cloud of deadly jewels, their bioengineered hulls gleaming with an inner light. Each ship was a work of art and a masterpiece of destruction. "Open a channel," Rodriguez ordered. Admiral Vextar's image appeared on screen, his reptilian features showing what humans would recognize as smugness. "Primitive humans, you have one opportunity to surrender. Your resistance is admirable but futile." "Counter-proposal," Rodriguez replied calmly. "You turn around and leave our system, and we won't have to embarrass you in front of your War Council." The laughter that followed was transmitted across all frequencies, shared among the hegemony fleet like a joke too good not to spread. "Very well," Vextar said when the laughter died down. "We shall provide you with a demonstration of proper military doctrine before we finish this." The hegemony fleet moved with textbook precision, their formation a perfect expanding sphere designed to envelop and overwhelm the tiny human force. It was beautiful, mathematical, and exactly what Rodriguez had hoped they would do. "All ships execute Plan Chaos," she broadcast. What happened next violated every principle of naval warfare that the War Council understood. The human ships scattered like startled fish, breaking every rule of formation flying. The Indomitable Spirit dove toward the nearest asteroid field, while the converted cargo haulers spread out in seemingly random directions. To the hegemony commanders, it looked like panic, exactly as intended. "They're fleeing in disorder," observed Commander Zephylos. "Shall we pursue?" "All ships maintain formation and—" Admiral Vextar's order was cut short as the first surprise detonated. The asteroid field the Indomitable Spirit had fled toward suddenly blossomed with light. Humans had spent weeks planting mining charges throughout the field, turning each asteroid into a massive fragmentation bomb. The leading edge of the hegemony formation flew directly into a cloud of hypervelocity rock fragments. Bioengineered hulls were magnificent against energy weapons and could regenerate from moderate kinetic impacts, but they had never been designed to handle thousands of razor-sharp fragments moving at relativistic speeds. 17 hegemony vessels vanished in the first explosion. Impossible, Korath snarled. Those were civilian mining charges. All ships, evasive maneuvers, Vextar ordered. But the tight formation that had been their strength became their weakness as ships collided trying to avoid the debris field. That's when the human cargo haulers revealed their modification. Each had been loaded not with supplies but with thousands of mining drones. Cheap, fast, and equipped with shaped charges designed to crack asteroid cores. They swarmed the hegemony fleet like angry hornets. The War Council watched in growing horror as their perfect formations disintegrated. Individual drones were easily destroyed, but there were too many of them, and each one that reached its target took out systems, weapons, or life support. Sir, the humans are using their own ships as kinetic weapons, reported a hegemony tactical officer in panic. It was true. The converted mining vessels, their holds empty and their crews evacuated to smaller ships, were ramming hegemony vessels at full thrust. Their makeshift armor and ramming prods designed to punch through hulls before detonating their reactors. This isn't warfare, whispered Commander Zephylos, watching a human cargo hauler take out a heavy cruiser in a suicide run. This is madness. No, said Admiral Vextar, finally understanding what they faced. This is desperation, and humans are apparently very good at it. The battle raged for 18 hours. When it ended, the hegemony fleet had lost 312 vessels to humanity's 19. The remaining human ships, battered, held together with what appeared to be sheer willpower, floated among the wreckage of the enemy fleet. On the War Council station, the survivors stared at their tactical displays in stunned silence. How, asked Korath finally, how did they turn mining equipment into weapons of war? Rodriguez's image appeared on their communication screen, her uniform torn and her face streaked with smoke, but her eyes bright with victory. You want to know our secret? She said, addressing the War Council directly. You fight with perfection. You use weapons designed by committees, tested for decades, manufactured to exact specifications. We fight with whatever's lying around. Our weapons are held together with duct tape and desperation. But they work because they have to work. She leaned forward, and the War Council saw something in her expression that chilled them to their cores. Not cruelty, but absolute determination. You call it primitive. We call it human, and if you ever come to our system again, we'll show you just how creative, desperate humans can be. The transmission ended, leaving the War Council in silence. They had learned something that day that would reshape their understanding of warfare itself. Sometimes the most dangerous enemy isn't the one with the best weapons, but the one with nothing left to lose and the ingenuity to turn anything into a weapon. The hegemony never returned to human space. Some battles they realized weren't worth winning against an enemy that could turn their own creativity into victory.